Welcome to From Pitch to Pontoon.
Hi, I'm Andrew.
I'm Lisa.
And I'm Calum, and welcome to this week's episode of From Pitch to Pontoon. How are we both doing this week?
We're very well, thank you very much. Well, I said we, I can't answer for Lisa, but I'm doing very well.
You do this every week, you answer for Lisa.
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to shut up.
Lisa, how you doing?
We're good. Lots going on, but we're good.
Fantastic stuff. So on last week's episode, we were talking a little bit about the holiday home sales market, where it's to. Obviously, we know there's massive pressure on the manufacturer side and the dealer side and the parks. They're all feeling the squeeze of the market going completely soft. Harry Ricks, in a previous episode, if you want to go back and have a listen to it, was also talking about the purchasing patterns of the parks. So they're talking about buying more fleet units rather than those for sale, which ties us quite nicely, actually, because I've got an interview on today's episode today with my good old friends and old employer over at Ladies Mile Holiday Park. And they're chatting to us a little bit about themselves, obviously, but they're also talking about what's happened and the impact that the national insurance rise has had on their business, family-owned business. So really nice to hear the challenges that they've faced with that. So, messy market at the minute. We've got holiday home sales not doing great at the minute. They've had the pressures of national insurance. We've spoke about it briefly before about this turn to bookings. What can we do to help on the bookings front? All of our customers, or those in the industry, customer or not, feeling that pinch. Where can we move on the booking side?
I think they definitely are. I think the conversations that I've had, so obviously in my role within Elite, I speak to customers and I'm asking for that feedback constantly. I actually had a conversation with a customer yesterday. Their opinion was their owners are there already now. They have their owners. They are not getting the same influx of new customers or new business as they were, and they are having to diversify. So they want something that helps them market to the people that they already have, that kind of repeat business, that kind of quick out the door. What can we do with those customers while they come on holiday? How can we extend that out straight away? How can we market to them? How can we offer them extra facilities that we have, like activities, the restaurant, come again and stay with us, like here's a discount code. It was all to do with that, and it was they really wanted to focus on that. They were kind of like not discounted their owners, but almost saying like we've sort of neglected this side of it for maybe a little bit too long,
And
because
focused
this
on the
was
owners,
where we
yeah.
were super strong, and now we're having to diversify. I think we've spoken about it before.
I think we
We're
have
constantly mentioning,
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about diversification, and I think this is probably the biggest swing that we're seeing is towards the bookings. Usually we're talking about, what else can they bring on to the park? But now they're going, actually, we need to use what we've got and generate that revenue whilst the holiday home sales are struggling.
And I think it's certainly something we have talked about before, but what we are seeing, and when we're talking to our customers and different people out there in the industry, is it's making sure that the start of the journey is right. Because we've always said it, once you miss that weekend, that night, that week, that month, you'll never ever get it back again. So it's even more important now to make sure that the start of the journey is right and that it follows through. And following on from what you were saying, Lisa, is that then when they're on park, it's then making sure you maximize everything you physically can. Everything's open, everything's working, everything's for sale, everything's looking its absolute best. And this is what our customers are saying to us.
Yeah.
So how, if we were sitting, when this episode goes out, summer will have just finished for all of these parks. How do they make sure that they don't have, sorry, let me rephrase that. How do they make sure they get a nice baseline of holiday revenue income in to set them up for 2026?
I think they need to know their data for start. They need to start that comparison, that forecasting. They need to kind of have a plan for sure, seeing maybe what was happening year on year, where the trends are changing. And I think even as Elite, we see that. I was speaking to some of the team about it this week, how normally our quiet period is summer holiday time. This is kind of the lull, and we get busier tail end of the year once all those site fees have gone out and once everything's done. We've not seen that this year. I feel like we have been consistently busy with customers needing things, wanting to add on things, to improve what they already have. And I think things are changing. You do need to pay attention. You do maybe, even if you think you've done that maybe a couple of years ago, your customer, when your busy times are. We all know summer holidays are busy. Are they? Or Easter, up in
Mhm.
Scotland, you've got September weekend, October holidays, February half term. They need to reflect and see what's happening, and then look at special offers, tactical pricing, pushing out to maybe channel management if they've not looked at something like that before, booking journeys, starting that journey right at the very beginning, constant contact, like letting people know what you've got to offer, like starting it early, getting it going. I think
That's
they're all
exactly it.
really important things to do.
Yeah. You're absolutely right, and it goes back to that thing about getting it right at the start of the journey, and
Mhm.
it's doing it now and not, we say it all the time, but not sleepwalking into 2026.
Yeah.
It's making sure that you're at the head of the game now, learn from how 2025 has been. We've still got some good periods to go. There's still, I don't really want to say the C word, but Christmas to come. There's,
Jesus.
I know, what am I doing? But you've got Halloween, so there's still some good events and times that you can maximize, and still within as a holiday, depending on when your season is. But it's just making sure it's right now, getting the right journeys out there, getting the right offers out there, getting the right pricing, dynamic pricing, all of that in readiness for 2026, and maximize it as much as you can. And I think let's flow back into holiday homeowners as well. And again, although this year's not been great, we've also got to make sure that utilizing all of the data and the industry trends and all of that information that we're seeing now today, make sure we're ahead of that game for 2026, so we can maximize the ownership side also.
Yeah,
I
I was
agree.
just about to say that, like, your bookings, the people that are coming in, they are prime people to be reaching out to as well. It's like, oh, we've had the best holiday ever. We would love to come back
Absolutely.
here. And if they are
We'll
coming back
book it
year on
right
year,
now.
yeah,
Yeah, book now.
but yeah,
Yeah.
But we
that
used to
yeah,
incentivize the reception staff. They were paid a very good commissionary rate if they could get their customers to book before they left. And I know everyone does a book before you leave scheme. They're not, from what I've seen elsewhere, where I've had experience, they're not incentivizing anyone to do it. They're just saying, "Oh, you need to do this." But okay, well, what am I getting? You go, right. But a receptionist isn't a salesperson unless they're getting commission buying them. My advice would be incentivize them, give them real money. We're not talking a couple of quid here. Let's 20 quid a booking.
what?
Always put a price on it. Go on,
20
Cal.
quid?
That's what we used to do. But it works though, and it gets you that nice basing, because if they've had a really great time, you go, listen, you've got a special offer, but you've only got 7 days to do it. Great. Now you might
Exactly
have
that.
missed that window before you listen to us talk our nonsense. But what you could do is take, as you said, all that data you've had over the summer, you phone them up and go, listen, we hope you had a great summer with us. Do you want to come back and stay with us next year? We've got an offer just for you. Bish bash bosh. Start getting that revenue sitting ready to set you up to where you want to go for next year. And then the time it then comes around, you're filling in gaps rather than actually going, oh my God, we've got to Whitsun weekend and there's no one here.
We've done nothing.
We've done
not done
nothing.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Can I do a plug, Calum? Am I
Go
allowed to
on,
talk
go
about
on.
product? Am I allowed? Like, before I go
Go
there?
on, it's okay.
Thanks.
I'll let
So
you.
we're looking at AI, obviously, because AI is
Yeah.
everywhere. And this whole conversation, get involved. If you don't have the time, how many of us say that all the time? I do not have the
We do
time
not
to
have
do
the
that.
time.
I don't have the manpower to do that.
Don't have the
We
time
are
to go to the gym, but I have to have 8 hours to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
exactly priorities.
Can AI make me skinny?
I did ask. It says no,
Okay.
sadly. Like we are actively working. We do have a first incarnation of it, but right now we are developing booking AI, which targets that particular, oh, you've got an upgrade. Do you want to upgrade to this lodge for an extra 50 quid or whatever? There's an extra night available, and this automatically finds it within your system, creates the emails to however many people it's for, and sends them out. And you can send those out via CRM, which kickstarts the journey. Think about
Did you say create an extra night?
create an extra night, yeah.
Is that new?
It's not there
Have we
yet, but
got
we're
a
working
podcast
on it.
exclusive?
It's there, you do. Oh, whoops. But yeah,
That's
no,
really
we are.
exciting.
That's what ultimately AI is doing for you, is speeding up what could take you 4 hours is going to take you 15 minutes. And the end game, and it relates to both holidays and owners, is allowing you to spend more time with customers, allowing you
100%.
to be out there on the park talking to your owners and looking for that upgrade, because you utilize the data, get AI to help and assist you with it, and then get out there and be with your customers. And same on the holiday side, rather than spending days trying to analyze data or dig data out.
How many of you have had to sit in front of a booking matrix and try and yield manage?
Me, horrid.
Yeah, it's just the worst job in the world. But
Yeah.
if you can take a small aspect of that away, and you've saved some time, you've pushed out, say, 100 offers without having to sit and pick up
that
the
extra
phone.
night thing, because we would sit and we'd go, all right, we would get to a point almost where we were everything was gridlocked, couldn't move anything, but we'd have we'd have all these like one nights all over the
so
place.
annoying.
And you'd be like, right, how are we going to do it? Oh, so that was manual, having to sit there and go, right, how much should it be? Oh, well, how much did they pay? They're all get like 30 quid, whatever it is, hundreds. And you're going to do that with AI, Lisa?
That is the plan, yeah.
Where were you several years ago?
Not doing this.
What were you doing? Do you care to share?
But I was a phlebotomist.
You're a what? What's a
I was
phlebotomist?
taking people's blood.
Oh,
okay.
Crazy. What a turnaround, eh?
I know,
what a turnaround indeed.
Do you know what, though? That is the prime example of once in hospitality, always in hospitality.
Yeah,
it
totally
gets under
agree.
your skin, something about it, and you always come back to it. Like,
Taking
Calum,
blood
I
at the
know
bar.
your journey's been could set up portable stations, but it could. You always come back to it. Calum, you've had those, jobs where it's not been in hospitality, but you always come back to it.
Always. It's like an addiction, the park
and
industry.
it's something we care about, though. I think that is what we can all actively say. We care about it. We understand that people do. We don't want it. The Great British Holiday it should be protected, because we all have those lovely memories of going away and your mum and dad spending an absolute fortune on candy floss and the slot machines and getting your chips nicked off the beach by seagulls. But it's the best.
Yeah, it is. It's what we all remember.
So we're going to move on. We're going to hear from Ladies Mile about their story and that impact the national insurance has had as a family-run business. Before we jump into it, so it's Cerys and Stephen from Ladies Mile that are joining us. Cerys had a little bit of an issue with her Wi-Fi. So she says hello at the beginning and then she doesn't reappear for about 6 minutes. But she has got a message that she sent me. And I'm going to read it verbatim, okay? This is what she wants me to make sure that everybody knows before we cut her out for 6 minutes. Make a joke maybe about how I didn't fancy joining until after my introduction, then also dropped out before saying bye. Promise she isn't rude. She's not. I have known Cerys for a very long time. She's ecstatic to be on from pitch to pontoon. And we'll just explain her background very briefly, because that's what got missed out. So actually, when I met Cerys was a lifeguard. She very quickly became pool manager. She was then the HR manager, and now she's the deputy group general. No, deputy. Oh, as long as
you're going to get in trouble for forgetting that.
I know.
Cerys.
Sorry, Cerys. Deputy Group Operations Manager. Let's cover that title. That sounds pretty important.
I think you have to get Cerys on so we hear her
HR
story.
manager.
Yeah.
Shall I just call her it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got her CIPD qualified to HR into the leadership role, and she felt it helped give her a practical insight in how the park operates, being able to empathise with the staff in those frontline roles and truly understand a customer journey. Calum was my favourite employee, and I was really, really sad to see him leave.
I don't know if Cerys wrote that.
I'm not sure she did.
She absolutely did. Anyway, let's hear what's happening over at Ladies Mile Holiday Bar. Today we're joined by the award-winning Ladies Mile Holiday Park Group on the south coast of Devon, a family-owned park with a big personality and even bigger ambitions. Since 2016, the business has more than tripled its turnover under the leadership of Group Operations Manager Stephen Brown, while continuing to champion its people-first approach and strong sense of community. Joining him today is Cerys Cross, the park's Group Deputy General Manager and HR Manager, whose journey through leisure, HR and into leadership roles has given her a unique view on culture, care and what it really takes to keep a team motivated year round. We're talking growth, resilience and the real world impact of the recent national insurance rise, not just the bottom line, but on the people behind the scenes. How do you support your staff, plan for change and stay true to your values when external pressures are mounting? Let's find out. Welcome to the podcast. For anyone unfamiliar with Ladies Mile, what makes your park stand out?
Hello. Yeah, no, family-owned park and been established for well over 65 years. So it's completely independent. And for that reason, it's exciting, the things that you can do and everything else with the actual park itself.
So Stephen, you've obviously been in parks for over 20 years, although you definitely don't look it. What drew you to the independent side and what keeps you at Ladies Mile? Because obviously you had quite a history with the main operators.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to sort of implement what I've done in corporate parks over the last sort of 20 years and then actually be able to take it in a strategic direction that I want to do, or at least with the owner's backings that I can do. So it's the autonomy, really.
Get cracking and do whatever you want.
To a degree.
Let me just ask you, did you plan for a career in holiday parks?
I didn't. But so my background is that I went to university. It was a 4-year course with a year out, and I ended up spending that year out in Finland working in a hotel. And
Nice.
From that, I decided I wanted to get into the hospitality industry. Hence, it led its way to working at Hayden, actually, as part of a graduate trainee course. And hence, haven't changed since.
Been in there for those years.
I find that they've given me some very good grounding, some great learning opportunities. I found the difference mainly to do with what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yep.
So as a day-to-day general manager within a corporate, you're sort of told what you need to do via head office. So you've got a marketing team telling you this, you've got a sales team telling you that, you've got a retail team telling you otherwise. When you come to a family-owned business, especially when I came into this one, you haven't got any of that, which is exciting, but also quite scary at the same time, in the fact you've got nobody to actually bounce the ideas off or run. You have to actually do it yourself.
Much more of a strategic output, I guess, from you, whereas with the corporate side, you were getting, here is your strategy, please achieve these goals.
Correct.
Do you think you could have walked into Ladies Mile and been able to be that strategic without having the background with the corporate side? Firstly, actually, you were able to bring that knowledge into the park, first of all.
No, I don't think I would. I think what it did was tell me what I needed to get to, because those businesses are incredibly well run and they have lots of challenges with multiple parks, et cetera. But I knew that we needed certain expertise around the park to make it work.
Yeah. So talking of the park, it's grown significantly. Obviously, I said at the beginning that tripled its revenue since you started, which is a fantastic achievement. Obviously, you've got more guests, bigger teams, more complexity. What's helped you navigate that growth?
So it's sort of touched on it anyway. So first of all, when I came in, there was a management team running each of the departments. That was okay. But I didn't have a marketing department. I didn't have a IT department, health and safety, absolutely nothing of it all. So it's about putting people's experience and expertise from business partnerships and things like that. Then I also sort of got with the other thing when you're working on a independent is you don't know necessarily what's going on at other parks. So it was really important to touch base with some of the experienced general managers that I knew of that had moved over from corporate into family run businesses and sort of get together a little group of us to have a discussion over the challenges and everything that we did, which I found was really, really useful. Ours was within maybe a 50-mile radius of the park, but that has been very, very good.
So for both of you, have there been any decisions or moments that you would say are turning points for the business, or, I guess in your case, the departments that you were leading up until the point that you stepped into your new role? or even since then?
So when I came to it, I've already alluded to it slightly. There was nobody or no particular departments from a head office perspective. So one of the main things I did was put in a yield management team. Also completely redesigned the website, got it rewritten from the bottom up. So those two hand in hand made a massive difference on our holiday sales in a very short period of time. 2-3 years, we had doubled to trebled. We also had a look at the sales mix on the park, and at the time as well, we had lodges and then we had caravans, but we had no sort of middle ground. So managed to install some safari tents and what we've called as mini lodges. So these are high class caravans with hot tubs.
Nice.
So that produced the middle part of the park. And then probably important. So actually, I didn't realise how important this decision may be with COVID in the future, but we actually set up a marquee up the top. And that was mainly done because our main venue in the summer, as with all main venues, it gets heavily used. And I thought we were losing out on some revenue where people were coming in and deciding it was too busy. So we started doing a marquee with a festival sort of feel for it. And that pushed about a third of the customers up to that area, which meant that the clubhouse was still busy and still took near enough the same amount of money, but we were taking about 25% extra via the marquee. So that was massive. And then obviously in COVID, I was already meant for it. So that was not that I would have foreseen that, but it was certainly a lucky outcome.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for me, more of a staff focused one was having a HR function internally. So like Stephen was saying, the different businesses we sort of partnered with to bring different knowledge areas into the business. Having someone internally, when I started doing the HR, I think was a big turning point to make sure it was all just belt and braces, a lot more engagement from staff, a bit more, just a bit more procedure with any kind of employment process that someone would go through that was a little bit more, what's the word?
Professional.
Yeah. Just even to the minor things like an appraisal, a performance review or a probation review, just so people know where they're at. And because obviously the park is so big, and when you have almost 200 employees, people can feel quite distant. So I think having that contact with someone, say for example, your housekeeping, they don't often come to the complex, but then having that contact or hearing from someone in a more senior role is more inclusive and engaging, I think. So I'd say that was quite a big turning point.
100%.
I think I was going to say I'd certainly add to that in the fact that I think COVID, again, certainly people's mental health struggled. And therefore, just having a function outside the park is not good enough for the modern way that we work. So having Cerys focus on those people, help them put systems in place to give them the support has massively helped the park post-COVID.
So you've got quite a balance between you of operational and people first perspective. How does that play out when you are making big decisions together? Who wins?
I think it works really well.
I'm going to say I discussed this with Cerys before, and you would think that Cerys, coming from sort of like a pro people first perspective, would be very keen on that side. But I would say that we're quite similar in a number of ways there. I've always protected the people that worked around me, and probably too much in some cases, where Cerys can also be hard, but she's got a great business understanding, so would merge those two very, very well. But I think both of us come from a people perspective when we're making decisions.
Definitely. I think when you're in general management, you can't not be a people person. It's your people that are doing everything around you to make those cogs turn. I think if you don't have the people skills to be able to do that and you're solely task focused, I think you need to be a leader, and you wouldn't be a leader if you're not a people person. So I think Stephen's definitely got that. And I personally always, in every decision I've made, which has served me well for a long time now, I would always look at what's best for the business, what's best for the people, and then come to a bit of a compromise of the both to hopefully please both parties or both sides.
So what would you say has been the key to keeping your teams motivated during busy or difficult periods? You guys are open pretty much all year round, bar a few weeks in January, I think now. But that's strenuous on a team, especially for a holiday park operationally. How do you keep them motivated?
For me, I think it's as little as being a sounding board for people on those hard days. If you've just got someone and you're approachable and they feel valued and you can just listen to them if they're having a really difficult day or they've just dealt with a difficult customer, I think it goes a long way. Or kind of an act of appreciation or words of appreciation on a busier day, i.e. you go into the bar and you just help carry some plates on for a busy 20 minutes, or you just take them aside and you say you're doing a great job. I think that goes a long, long way, especially in this family-run holiday park where we are such a close unit, really.
I was going to say, from my point, it's sort of like managing the peaks and troughs. So if Cerys and I are doing our job correctly, then we should be motivating the teams and making sure that they're prepared for the peak and busy times. If you're prepared for it, then generally it runs okay. There's a bit of firefighting that goes on in every business, but generally it runs a heck of a lot better if you have that preparation in.
Are there any sort of moments where you've been either wandering about the park or with a team and you've just sort of taken that step back and you're thinking, do you know what, this is actually what it's all about? You've had a good day, I guess, for the pair of you.
Occasionally
happen.
It's seen we go to from anything from about 400 customers up to about 3,500 in peak, and you hear it, see it all the time where customers are enjoying themselves, they're making their memories, and you're part of that. There's not many businesses you can actually go in there and go, I've managed to create a memory for 2,000 families in 2 weeks. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard. So, and then you see your team on other occasions just it is mucking around a little bit, but done at the right time. I think that's good, and you can see that they actually enjoy working here. I think Cerys would put that with it in the fact that you've done a fair few exit interviews over the last 2-3 years, and I think people generally like that side of running in a family environment.
Definitely. I feel the same. It's such a nice feeling. In summer, it's a sunny day and people have saved up and this is their highlight of their year, and then they're arriving on a Monday, Friday or Saturday and they're just so excited, and the kids, and they see the pool and there's some music playing, and it's such a nice environment to be in. And then even in difficult situations with customers where something's gone wrong and you see different departments working together to come to a solution, and I really like it when Stephen and I don't have to get involved and you just see it happening and they all work together, and even if someone has made a mistake, someone else will pick up and say, yeah, fair enough, we'll make mistakes, and they fix it. I love that feeling.
Perfect. We're going to get serious now. And we're going to talk about the national insurance drive that has had a massive impact across the industry, from smaller operators, like you said, I would say smaller operators, independent operators, right up to the big groups that we're all familiar with. That preparation that was coming for that, what did that recent rise actually look like in practice for you as an independent operator?
This was so major that it needed someone to spend quite a lot of time over it. So I think Cerys is the best person to answer these questions on that, because I know what she's done, pleased with what she's done, but it was a challenge. And it is a challenge. Yeah,
it was horrendous. It was unavoidable. It was happening whether he liked it or not. And if we didn't do anything about it, you're looking at approximately a 10% increase on our wage bill, which comes straight off our bottom line. So obviously that does include national minimum wage and the employer NI contributions. But it was happening, and it was, as a family-run business, and having owners that put their everything into these businesses, and just seeing that come straight off the bottom line, it was something that was really tough to manage. But we did a number of things. So I looked at sort of middle management, give them incentives to education initially on how significant the impact was, so they can understand why we were making the decisions we were making. Because if we don't have their buy-in, they're just going to think we're just tightening up the reins for no reason other than to just make more money. And it wasn't the case. We're trying to reduce that huge impact on the business. So we looked at essentially freezing recruitment, what else we could do, like reducing overtime, or if it was necessary, just sort of justify. If we employ younger people and upskill them, which is a great thing to do anyway, I think that young talent, they're fantastic if they're willing to learn. and we get someone in that we can pay for their training and upskill them that way, it will hopefully reduce our turnover anyway, because they'll be with us for a number of years, and it's quite a good motivator for someone, but also let them progress up through ranks and wage.
So you mentioned there that you had to put a little bit of a pause on your recruitment plans. Did you see that having an impact on your growth plans? Because obviously you still need to grow year on year.
Yeah.
But then you've got that, we can't recruit. Was that having an impact on service? Have you seen that? Also, we're about to hit summer for you guys at the time that we're recording this.
I think it's all about support to managers as well. We need to make our departments more efficient, but we don't also want to make people feel like their workload is unmanaged. So it's just having those open conversations with your head of departments to see what they need from us and what we can provide to them through technology or any kind of operation to help them motivate their staff and perhaps ease the workload on their staff to be more efficient, to reduce.
I'm going to back you up a little bit here on the workload thing with the housekeeping, especially. Most businesses out there predominantly may time their housekeepers to clean a unit. It has to be done in 45 minutes, half an hour, whatever it is, and it ends up having an impact the other way. Whereas you guys don't. We're not saying please take 5 days to clean one lodge, sitting there having a cup of tea with your pals, but giving them the time to actually clean properly. They know what they've got to get done by 4 o'clock, and each of those accommodations will take as long as it needs to, but everything will be delivered on time, I think. Just to give you a wee bit of a boost there.
Thanks. Yeah, I can't imagine anyone not being in the same boat with this increase. It's so significant and unavoidable. So then it's also looking at things to offset it, so your revenue targets and bonusing to staff to give them the motivation still. So we're not just saying, we wouldn't ever want it to come across where we're saying work harder for no more money. That's not what we're asking at all. Get those self-funding bonuses in place to give them the motivation to achieve what is going to help the business and essentially our bottom line, but also we get some really motivated staff, because I know having targets and bonuses is motivating. There's a reason for why you're doing what you're doing. And then if you've got a motivated manager, you can believe it's going to go down and into the staff, and hopefully they'll have that positive attitude too.
And I guess what you are, by doing all these things, educating your staff, incentivizing your management team as well, is avoiding having to just straight up pass the entirety of that increase to your customer.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's with the cost of living crisis as well, and I'm sure Stephen could talk a lot better than I can on the revenue and holiday sales, but you don't want to start charging too much, do you? Because then no one's. It's the same. Everyone's in the same boat, because you've got these people. Every business is going through the same thing. So then, if they're going to have to tighten up on their wages, then who's going to suffer? It's the staff, and they're the people that are coming on holiday. So it's kind of a vicious cycle.
I think it's nearly impossible to pass it on to the customers at the moment anyway, because a lot of the, as I call them, the big boys in the industry are doing some very, very cheap deals out there, and that's already having a push on your prices. So it's about what you do, how you do it. So here's an example for you, and what we do to put the extra, why people might pay a little bit extra. A lot of parks in the winter get rid of their entertainment team. We actually keep our entertainment team on throughout the winter, because it differentiates us from going down to £149 holidays. We can go, come here. Yes, it is £300 to come here, but you will have your entertainment, and people want that. So, and you asked about would it damage the momentum and things like that. In addition to doing this, we've also put in some customer service stuff, like the happy or not stuff, which is very specific in each department. So we're actually monitoring the levels of service in a real-time environment. So that you can actually see if it drops, that we may have gone a little too far in the freeze. So we're reacting to that and making changes if we feel that our first initial thought was wrong.
So you've taken some proper proactive steps to stay ahead of it and make sure that it's not damaging the business. It sounds like to me.
Try our best.
We can.
We'll soon see if it works.
There are instances where businesses won't. They'll just go, right, that's that 12-15%, and they will just pass that straight over to the customer. So kudos to you for even attempting to.
It goes against our whole ethos, though. We're a family-run business. We're here for the families, and we can't do that. I mean, yes, we've got a business to run, but it's not fair to do that.
So when you're dealing with the scale, obviously seasonality, and now these additional pressures, how are you guys are you two staying in control without burning yourselves out? What are you doing for you?
I said to Cerys, it's a good question.
I know what Stephen does.
I don't drink alcohol within moderation, but alcohol helps. So we were discussing this, and I think if you have a core team in place, and that core team, generally speaking, has worked for a number of years, you can deal with the odd person or odd manager coming and leaving. But if you've got that core team in place, you then put the rest of it around it. So agency staff, seasonal, et cetera, et cetera. But it's all about that core team. It's all about the people you take on.
I think, I was just going to say, it's all about, I think, empowering those heads of departments to do their job to the best of their ability, which will help them personally, their own well-being. I think just eases the pressure anyway, because if they're happy and they're happy with how their job is going, then it does ease pressure on us because they're more willing to deal with certain pressures, I guess. But it's less pressures for them as well, because all the cogs are turning and all the departments are working well. That eases pressure for sure if they're well in themselves.
So Stephen, we know that you've got a real interest in your tech. How has that shaped how you approach that's made a difference in how you lead and plan? I mean, you're quite techie across the entire business.
Yeah, we've implemented lots of different technologies across there. I think the first thing with technology is you don't want to just implement technology just for technology's sake. It has to help in some way, shape or form the company. So either through a strategic advantage, improve the customer experience, save costs, or make it easier for the team. So we jumped ahead. I'm not saying we jumped ahead of the big boys in the industry, but I think we jumped ahead of quite a lot of the smaller companies in the industry by doing things and embracing it first. AI is a big thing at the moment, and I've been looking at it for a couple of years and different things, but it's got to work within it. You couldn't just replace a receptionist right now with AI technology for a number of reasons. First of all, it's not good enough. B, it doesn't counter for people's unusual requests and things like that. And C, do you want to go onto a park that has a virtual receptionist? The whole idea of going on holiday is to meet people, see people, everything else like that. So you can't just implement it for that reason.
See, that's where me and you potentially differ, because I don't want to talk to anybody.
I knew what you'd be thinking then, Calum.
But it should give you an option, shouldn't it? And you've got a point there.
Yeah.
Some people, if you implement any new technology, you've got the people that will embrace it, think it's brilliant. And I can think of going to a supermarket when they had the self-service checkouts.
Exactly.
I, like many of others, would have gone straight into the self-service. Let's have a go at this. And then my mum would leave it for as long as possible and never, ever, ever go in there unless she absolutely has to. So again, when you're embracing that new technology, you have to think about those types of people. So you have to have options. Yes. But it's done at the right time. That's
staff as well. It's a huge change. Like when you bring something in that's so technology focused, and we're dependent on that technology sometimes. I think the changes for the staff is so unavoidable that, I mean, the wave of change in employment is like the wave of grief. You feel that really depressive state when you aren't embracing the technology. You just feel so isolated, and it's not what you want to do. You've always done pen and paper, and that's always what's worked for you. So I think you can't just implement this technology and expect not only the customers but the staff to be able to deal with it. Just here you go, figure that out, and here's the passcode. It's just not like that. So you really have to think about how well it's going to work and spend a lot of time with your staff to understand how much this will benefit them once they get the hang of it.
I think the COVID period actually moved a lot of people in all age groups to discover new technologies. The one that obviously stands out is when you go into a bar and you order from the app. It had been implemented by Wetherspoons definitely before COVID, but nobody really wanted to do it, didn't see the benefit of it. And now it's totally there. I think it's cut down on queues. So you can see the benefit of it when it goes in. You can play a little game, have your drink, order it just as you're finishing that drink up. bang, comes along another one.
Stephen's an expert, as you can see.
I'll go back to the alcohol question.
So while Stephen's out there relaxing with a glass of wine, how important is it to have that space and clarity to have a drink? How important is it to have that space and clarity to step back away from the detail and actually focus on the big picture stuff? And do you get, I suppose the two of you got off park to go and do that together, to just step back and go, this is where we're going to go? Or is that do you involve all the management team in that? Or just have an initial strategy session and then bring everyone else
It's incredibly important. You can easily fall into the trap yourself as well. When you've got something going on and you're like, oh, blah, blah, and then you've got to take that 2 seconds just to step back and go, actually, what is this achieving? I'm getting so worked up about this. It's not worth the energy. I think when you're in a family holiday park as well, run by the initial people that set up the holiday park, they sometimes are the people that come down to that detail, and you have to try and drag them away from, worrying about what salt sachets we're using in the club, to actually bring them away from that and actually go, how about we concentrate on the much bigger picture, and we can do all that and change it. And you can get very bogged down.
So as we look to wrap up the conversation today, what's next for Ladies Mile? Anything on the horizon that you're especially excited about? Got a new secret park in the go?
No, I think holiday parks don't change radically, but they develop over time, I think. So stuff that we've got on the go, we are trying to get ourselves to self-sufficient on energy, but there's a lot of money going to be invested in having our own electric infrastructure, to the point where I'm hoping that we won't actually have to come off grid. So that's quite a lot. From a customer's perspective, they won't see that so much, but I suppose if they're on touring and things like that, where we've inevitably had to charge some money for the electric that they use, then at least it'll be competitive.
Yes.
From that side. And I think probably technology, again, I know we keep saying about it, but I think you're not going to get away from AI coming in one shape or form. How that looks, what that feels like, I couldn't answer you right now, but you've got an idea where it could come in, maybe on your sales teams, certainly answering queries and things like that. I think it'll be very, very good at in a very short space of time.
Yes, absolutely. So where do you think those holiday parks, what do you think holiday parks will need to thrive in the next few years?
I think exactly what Stephen just said then. Like you said before, technology. I think we'd fall behind if we didn't have those current trends. I just don't think it'd work. It's new, it's different, it's exciting.
I think businesses need to be as flexible as possible as well. Willing to adapt, willing to change where it's right. You can get a lot of people in the industry that will be stuck in their ways.
Yes.
And if you do that with what's being thrown at you from successive governments, from the technological side, or just the impact on the economy or anything outside that, you've got to be able to be clever and adapt and not make it, you could get very defeatist very quickly. And it's trying to keep that optimistic and go, okay, if we do it like this could be a really good outcome from it if we can change it. Like what's going on with the employers NI. We haven't got any redundancies here. We haven't made any redundancies, don't intend to make any redundancies. So the impact on people here is not too much. Yes, we're being more efficient. Yes, we're probably asking them to work a little bit more efficiently. I don't know if that means harder in some places. It probably does, to be all honesty. But at least they'll get the payoff then as well. The bonuses are slightly larger than we've paid in the past. So those people that adapt to that, work hard, put in the effort, will be rewarded for it.
And finally, for both of you, if you sum up 2025 in one word or mindset for Ladies Mile, what would it be?
Go on, Cerys.
I would say refinement. It's a bit of a weird one. I think we have a fantastic core team, I think. We've got our internal teams and the businesses we work with I just think they're great.
Mine would be focus. You have to focus, or you will be focusing on the costs, but also focus on the customer experience. And to be honest, I said to Cerys as well, that's sort of been the thing since I started in the industry. It's always been the focus, isn't it? It's always been look after the costs, look after the customer experience. What changes is the balance between those two.
Yes. Fantastic. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. And if anyone does want to book a holiday with you, wants to come and visit you in South Devon, how do they find you?
Go onto the web, look up www.ladiesmile.co.uk.
Fantastic.
Or a sister company, Oak Cliff, which is a nice, relaxing park.
Use discount code. Calum Spoorer. Listen, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today, and we'll hope to speak to you again very soon. Bye.
Yes.
What a great interview that was.
Sure was. And I was our favourite employee.
You were a favourite. And you didn't get into too much trouble for forgetting all that stuff at the start, did you?
Tried.
No, that was brilliant. And I think it's great to hear the insights. You know, we're talking to everybody in the industry all of the time, you know, marinas, parks, manufacturers, dealers, and we're in communication with them daily. So it is good to hear everyone's thoughts and know that also everyone's aligned. Everyone's in the same boat. And I think, you know, one of the things that we want to say is that if, like we said at the start of this interview, if you think we can help you, you know, with technology, with AI, with our Microsoft solutions, do please get in touch and we can talk to you about it, and we can, you know, explain how our solutions have helped our current customers now, how they're helping our customers with whether they are holiday homeowners or whether they are holiday makers. But have a chat with us and we can see how this technology can change your operation and help you more get into a place where you need to be for 2026. So it goes back to what we were saying before, is act now and let's make 2026 the best year ever. And if you want us to help you do that, then get in touch and we can help you.
Definitely. Feedback as well. I think it's not just about
absolutely
what we can offer. Like it's not about like what we can sell. Let's say, like it's about how we can help. Feedback. Like feel free to contact, you know, the product team or myself or your account management who can point you in the right way. And it's just that feedback even on what you've got just now and how to maximize it. It's all there.
Perfect. Well, you think Elite Dynamics can help you? You can visit us at elitedynamics.co.uk, or perhaps if you're listening in the future, it might be elite-dynamics.com. But from us, we are going to see you next time. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah.
See you later.
Bye.